Let's go to NBC4's Eric Halperin, who's been out checking out the air quality duty this week. And Eric, you've been out in that goopy, soupy mess out there. What are you finding out right now?
Dave, no matter where you go around the city, it's hard to find people not talking about the haziness that's taken over central Ohio this week. And for some, it's causing health problems. For a third day in a row, smoke from Canadian wildfires is leaving a hazy look over the city of Columbus.
It's crazy. I would never suspect it because it's so far over. It's just crazy.
Addison Wyrick and Karen Middleton say, other than wondering how long this will last, they've been fine. But the lower air quality is leading to issues for others.
I do live in an elderly community, and so one gentleman was taken to the hospital with asthmatic issues. So I would say if you're very, very sensitive, you know, obviously take heed when the warnings are don't go outside unless you have to.
According to Chief Operating Officer and clinician at the Breathing Association, Dr. Iyad Hassan, the clinic has been busier than usual.
It is adding up to the actual individual feeling it immediately, especially when they walk out. After a few steps, a few of our patients said it felt like it got into my lungs and I just couldn't take a breath.
The conditions over the last few days are considered to be unhealthy for sensitive groups, including people with asthma or respiratory conditions. That's who Dr. Hassan says they've been seeing and hearing from.
It's basically air oxygen going through like a water hose shrinking down to a straw. So think if you're trying to breathe through a straw instead of through a large hose, how your breath is feeling like.
And Dr. Hassan says preparation is key for those affected by this air quality. He says that means staying inside if possible and having your inhaler ready if you use one. Local for you in Columbus, I'm Eric Halperin, NBC4.
All right, Eric, thank you. Now, our fast feedback question. Have you limited your outdoor activity because of this continuing air quality alert?
Well, a lot of you weighed in, but about 29% of you said no, you have not changed your activity, you're limited your physical activity outdoors. As always, we thank you for weighing in. And
now on top of the heat, the smoke, the haze, it is awfully dry out there as we've been in a dry spell for weeks now.
Yeah, and that's sparking some new warnings. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Ben Gelber is here to update us. Ben?
And Jennifer and Jared, the air is actually cleaner than it used to be, and that's why we don't see very many days like this. But of course, we rarely see smoke from Canadian wildfires make it this far south. And you can see the thicker plumes are off to the east, but we still have several more rounds of haze that will be coming straight south from Canada. Now, how does that tie into our dryness? Well, both are interconnected. You have a huge ridge of high pressure, a heat dome, which extends way up almost to the Arctic Circle. So that means heat and drought and sparks wildfires across Canada, more than 400 active wildfires. But then look at the eastern part of the country. See how the jet stream takes a dive? And this is also extremely unusual. Low pressure over New England, something you don't see this time of year. So that's driving that smoke all the way from Minnesota to South Carolina. And these are stagnant patterns. An omega block is hard to break down, shaped like the Greek letter omega. So once you get into a dry pattern of hot subsiding air, the ground dries out. There's very little moisture to get up into the atmosphere. And you can see since May 12th, we've had very little rain, just a couple of light showers here and there and an isolated storm. But the net effect has been intense wildfires to our north, and that smoke and also smoke particles, the tiny smoke particles or particulates, are toxic, and that's what's so dangerous as that's carried south. We talked to David Parrott with the Ohio Division of Forestry about the risk of our dry weather sparking even more wildfires.
Here in Ohio, typically most of our fires are caused by, or human caused, usually from burning debris and trash in their backyards or in a field, and that gets loose. And the most important thing is if you burn, you want to make sure that it's completely extinguished before you walk away from that fire. A lot of times people walk away from a fire, it rekindles, and that's when it starts to spread.
And I do expect a gradual wind shift later on in the weekend that will help along with some rain. But take a look at the soil moisture, guys. More than 3/4 of the state is abnormally dry and may go over into moderate drought if we don't get some rain soon.
That's been wild. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.